I get a lot of comments in my videos about how clean my tank looks and how I keep everything so orderly. I keep my tank relatively clean most of the time with weekly water changes, and I scrape the glass every other day or as needed, but every month or so I do a deep clean or in preparation for a video. So I thought some of you may appreciate a video of how I cleaned my tank for the last video update I did. The first thing I do is I clean the glass with a Tunzi Care mag cleaner, and I pretty much keep the razor blade on the scraper at all times. With this method over the last year, I have found 0 scratches on this tank. I did not have the same experience in the past with other magnet scrapers with the same name as a TB Dolphin, so I'm pretty happy with the Tunzi Care. So when I start scraping coralline, I will add filter socks or a polishing filter to capture the particulates produced. Plus I usually do other cleaning tasks that stir up the gunk in the tank. I can get most of the back with the Tunzi Care, but I need to use a manual scraper where the overflow box is and the plumbing comes down. It scrapes off pretty easy and usually with one go on the back panel. I use a MaxiJet pump to blow off the rocks and corals and use a Marineland polishing filter to filter out all the gunk. I think it's pretty important to avoid detritus from saturating all the pores of the rock, which could create nutrient issues. The Marineland polishing filter does a really good job at cleaning up the water really quick. Sometimes I'll use a brush to manually scrape away algae or detritus spots that don't get blown away from the MaxiJet. Surprisingly enough, there is some cyanobacteria looking mats that are pretty hard to get up with just a pump, so usually a manual brush like the Battle Brush is needed. I try to get in a 20-gallon water change every week, which includes vacuuming the sand. The snails and the sand sifting goby help keep it clean, but they don't really get down deep into the sand bed, so the vacuuming helps with that. Even after just a week, the vac can pull out some nasty water, but not as bad as someone who probably neglects their sand bed completely. I manually stir up areas that I can't get to with the vacuum. I don't think there's any harm in doing this as long as you do it often. Otherwise, you may release too much nitrogen or phosphorus in the tank too quickly. Or if it's been sitting too long, you could even have some anaerobic areas that may release some sulfur. It's more work than when I was bare bottom, but I really like the look of sand, so it's worth it. After the water change, I will let the filter sock and polishing filter do its job overnight. Normally, I just run filter cups with nothing in them to silence the water in the sump, but when I stir up the tank, I do like to use mechanical filtration. When my power heads get covered in algae or I notice a drop in flow, I will give the pumps an acid bath. I use citric acid instead of vinegar. I don't measure how much citric acid I use, but it's probably somewhere like a half a cup per gallon. Once I clean them, I use Molykote 111 on any of the moving parts to protect them and provide some lubrication. I also check the magnet whenever I clean them to make sure they are not cracked. Lastly, I will wipe down the outside of the glass with a towel to clean up any of the salty water stains, and then I clean it with a glass cleaner. I got a free bottle of this Fritz glass cleaner, and surprisingly it works well. It's not a normal glass cleaner, it's mostly glycerin, which feels like it polishes the glass and makes it nice and smooth. After cleaning with the glass cleaner, I also found that the mag scrapers glide over the glass surface a lot easier. I don't think the glass cleaner is necessary, but it does make the glass look surprisingly cleaner. Sometimes I'll also even take the screen top and throw it in the shower and spray it down to get all the salt creep out of the cracks. If I'm doing a video that features my frag sump, I will suck out all of the detritus. I will soak my skimmer in acid and scrape down all the walls and even give the frag racks a soaking. But I haven't done that in a while, so I don't have a lot of video to show on that. Hopefully this cleaning routine may inspire some of you to alter your cleaning schedule. I think the little things like scraping coralline and vacuum the sand may take a little extra time, but in the long run it's worth it and makes life easier.